Well, good morning, Get Wrecked for Recovery crew. So it's day 102 of the Redeeming Eden Cycle Tour. RECT, Get Wrecked for Recovery. A bicycle trip across the United States of America to raise awareness that there are addiction recovery options available, that you don't have to die in your addiction. There's churches, celebrate recoveries, and rescue missions all over the nation, all over the world that just want to help you, talk to you, and love you if you find yourself bound by addiction. So I'm here at Idle Hour Park in Springfield, Kentucky. Interesting turn of events last night. So Aaron Lang, who's one of the 4 cyclists that I met in Mitchell, Oregon, they were coming out of the Spoken Hostel. I was coming into the Spoken Hostel. 2 females passed me, then 2 males. The last guy finally stopped and talked to me. I was coming down the hill past everybody else, so I really didn't want to stop. Anyway, so I spoke to Aaron, and we've kept in essential touch. He's watched the YouTube videos, dropped a few comments. Well, when he saw that I was getting close to Berea, he said, "Hey, I know some contacts in Berea. If you'd like a place to stay, I can probably work something out." He said, "I went to school there." And so I said, "Sure, that's fine. I would actually, I need a shower. Probably need to wash some clothes too." He said, "Okay, I'll hit up my contacts there." And so last night I got an email from Paul Wright. And so Paul, asked essentially what I needed. And I said, he told me about the road ahead, that I needed to resupply in Berea, that the mountains, that's going to be totally different. And so I said, okay. I said, really, all I need is a shower. Like, that's really, at this point, number 1 priority. I don't like it. I don't like not showering. And so he said, okay, let me, talk to my people. So he called around or Facebooked around, and Happiness Hills Farms in Berea is like an Airbnb. Go check them out. It looks pretty amazing. And they said, Jennifer there and her husband Alfredo got in touch with me through Messenger and said, "We would love to host you for the night. We're going to, donate the night for you." And so I said, "Oh, that's wonderful." They asked me when I was going to be there. I said about 2 nights. I've got today, halfway to Berea, and then tomorrow all the way into Berea. And so in kind of looking at everything, I called the place that was halfway between here and there. It's really the only place with a roof. And with Hurricane Delta making its way up through, it looks like it's going to be rainy all day, as you can tell. But it looks like it's going to get really bad tonight and into tomorrow all day. So I said, I don't really know what to do. I'm kind of sourcing this thing out. I can't find, a real place in between here and there. Maybe I'm just going to take bus route 150, business route 150, straight on through to Lancaster and in. It's only 60 miles to Berea that way rather than 84 and 3,500 feet of climbing. It's 1,600 feet of climbing. So half the climbing, 2/3 the miles. 3/4 the miles. And so I got back in touch with Jennifer this morning, and she said, that she was booked tonight, but that tomorrow and Monday night would be okay. And I said, well, maybe I'll just find a place to hold up in Lancaster. And she said, I tell you what, look, we'll make a space for you. If you can get here today, it won't be like a bedroom per se, but you will have a place that you can be out of the rain. And so I said, oh, that's so cool. So, and she said, you'll be in the lap of luxury tomorrow, which, I look forward to. That would be a nice off day. That would be a really nice off day. Log cabin, Airbnb, just tranquil setting, God-fearing people. Yeah, I'm down. So, Paul had mentioned, he was like, we need to break bread. I'd love to meet up with you. And he said, or pizza. And I was like, oh, we'll break some pizza for sure. A man after my own heart indeed. And so that's my current situation. I've got 60 miles to go. It's overwhelming a little, but at the same time, it's like, okay, I've got a good long day. The sun doesn't set till late. If I just get this thing in and make it happen, maybe it'll work. If not, I've got Lancaster to fall back on if I don't make it. And the roads look pretty okay. But that was another thing. The lady at Earth Song Farm, I just left her a phone message, and she called me back. She was like, this is a God thing. We're not hosting anybody anymore. I looked up your YouTube channel. I looked up your Facebook. You know, there's a rehab facility. Our judge just actually retired from being a judge to take over a rehab facility here. It's called ARC in Springfield, which I unfortunately won't be able to go to because of the rush that I'm now in to beat this hurricane rain. But she said, you know, I love what you're doing, and kind of gave me the directions to Berea straight in. She said, if you don't want to take the trail all the way in, she said, it's a lot of winding back roads, and she said, I feel concerned for your safety with the rain. Because, you know, people driving on back roads, windy back roads with rain, I mean, you know, braking distance is highly limited. Anyway, all those things come into play. I think I'm going to do it this way. I'm just going to continue to follow the Spirit's lead. And that's my goal for today is Berea, which I'll be a day early into. I had hoped to actually speak at I was going to stop in Harrodsburg and then have a rehab in Tennessee in Crossville pick me up, and I was going to speak there and spend a day spending, you know, with the guys there and then come back, and they weren't able to do it. So, with all that being said, I've got to kind of hurry. I am probably not going to record as much video today of scenery because, number one, it's really rainy. I mean, granted, it's still beautiful. The trees are just gorgeous, but with it being rainy and having to take my phone out of my rain jacket and put it back in and get everything wet and dry everything off to film and still make time and hours, but I doubt I'm going to do a lot of like the little individual video clips where I'm stopping, you know, taking breaks, kind of enjoying the scenery around me. This is more of like a push day, which kind of leads me into another thing. So with doing 60 miles and it being a push day and taking away my time for ministry, taking away my time to do and be and record the videos, I'm looking forward to the Yorktown, Virginia to Key West portion, which I would have to complete at 62 miles a day, assuming I make it to Yorktown on the 29th, to the Atlantic Ocean on the 29th of October. And I've been praying for several weeks. I've talked to a couple of mentors, Mike Mathis and Ingo Tophoven, and asked them, you know, well, how do they feel about this? My son's first birthday, my third child, is October 31st, and the timing is just a little bit too impeccable, especially with the election coming up. I think at this point that I am going to fly home from Yorktown, Virginia, and then pick back up and do Maine to Key West next year as the next ride. So again, just trying to play everything out. I would have to do 62 miles a day. It would take away what I'm doing this for. Which is ministry. It's not a bike ride, you know, so, I mean, the bike ride's involved in the ministry, but you understand, you follow where I'm going with this. And I feel like it would be, at this point, a much better token to go and love my family. I miss them incredibly, and be there with them, and then, you know, do Maine to Key West next year, and you know, have more vlogs to do. If I do it all right now, I mean, that won't be very good. I got 48 states to do over 4 years. So, with all that being said, I recorded this a little longer because I know I'm not going to have very much filming to do today with the rain and with the amount of distance that I have to cover. You guys be in prayer for that too. Drop a comment if you feel like, you know, that 5,000 miles across the United States is enough for this trip. Or if you feel like you think that the Lord is telling you that I should keep going, you just drop comments and let me know so that I can get the general consensus of the people who actually are watching the channel daily. And I don't feel like I'd feel defeated at all. If I didn't make it to the Atlantic, I would be kind of disappointed. Like, you know, the verse where Jesus is talking about if a man sets out to build a house and he doesn't complete it. But I don't feel like, you know, crossing the United States by bicycle in any form or fashion, just not making it to Key West is not a completion. Like, that was just kind of icing on the cake. So, yeah, please drop a comment. Let me know what you think about me ending in Yorktown, Virginia, and doing Maine to Key West next year. Is that a ride that you'd like to see in totality from farthest northeast point to farthest southeast point? As close as I can get to farthest northeast point. somewhere up there. I'm not going to do the White Mountains. I've also got to get some kind of different gear ratio or a different touring bicycle, because this one's not made for the hills I'm going over. This is a regular bike that I converted into a touring bike, and the mountains are crushing me. So with all that being said, I'm going to get on the road. I love you guys. I'll see you later. So pretty neat that church sign about 5 miles in said that the Lord will give you rest, because I am so looking forward to this. More unfolding turns of events. So Jennifer and I talked on the phone, and she said, hey, I got a better idea. How about you stop in Paint Lick? I know a friend there named Richard. And so I was like, okay, I'm good with that too. So she put me in touch with Richard Carter. Richard Carter has like a school there that I'm going to kind of check out. I don't really know all the details, but it's an old school building. And the pastor, I guess, lives next door, and his name is Thad. And so Richard called me, and I talked to Richard, and then Thad called, and so I'm going to stay with Thad tonight, and then make my way into Berea tomorrow during the rain. So still not quite sure how all that's going to work together. Thad did say I could stay there another night if needed. Thank you so much, Thad. And yeah, it's all just kind of working out. The getting out of the rain portion of this was provided before I even knew it needed to be provided. God is so good, over and over again. But yes, definitely looking forward to rest. From Paint Lick, I'm like 10 miles into Berea. So tomorrow morning, wake up, get those 10 miles is what I'm praying about doing, looking forward to doing. Get those 10 miles, go ahead and get on the road, and then I'll have all day Sunday off. Hopefully be able to go to church in the morning before I leave, and then I'll have all day Sunday off, and then stay the night in Berea Sunday night, and then leave out of Berea into the Appalachians Monday. So yeah, the way things are currently looking. Again, I don't know. Thad also called and asked if I needed any supplies, and so he's picking up like a few snacks and drinks and stuff from the store for me before I get there. So man, this is so good. God is so good. Over and over again, he's faithful. And just like that sign, he's just continually speaking. And he's doing it all around us. You just have to look for, no pun intended, the signs. Anyway, I love you guys. I got to get back on the road. All right, so I made it into Lancaster, I'm not really sure how they pronounce it here in Kentucky. But it rained on me hard for quite a while. I actually pulled off into a cemetery and just got into the pavilion because it was making my visibility and the vehicle's visibility very rough. So I looked at the time, it's 6:30, and I've still got 12 miles to go to get to Paint Lick. And so I texted Richard and I asked him, I said, you know, what are the roads like? Is 52 continue to be thin with no bike lanes? And he said, no, he said, it's a wider road. And I said, okay. I said, because at this point, another band of showers is coming through from the hurricane, and I'm going to be riding in the rain after dark. And he said, well, I'll come pick you up if you want me to. And I was like, I don't know. I don't really want to, because I want to ride across America on my bicycle. But I asked him, I said, what do you think? Are you feeling like it would be too dangerous? You know the roads better than I do. He said, yeah, it'd be better if I just came and picked you up. So I'm here at the Citgo. Just met Sarab, who works here, gave him a sticker. Kind of told him what I'm doing, riding across America to start a rehab. And so, Sarab, thanks for subscribing to the channel. And yeah, I'm going to wait on Richard to show up, and then I'm going to go get a shower. I need a shower so bad. He also said he's got baked spaghetti and meatballs and salad. And I am starving. I think I've gone like 45 miles today. But yeah, this has been a rough day. All the rain just really makes it. Yeah. But it's okay. So yeah, waiting on him, and then you'll see more of that in just a little bit. I love you guys. I'll see you later.
All right, so that was a super fun evening. I got here. Richard Carter came and picked me up, and his son John. Got to their place, which is an old schoolhouse, and he told me the whole story of how God was able to provide it for him for a ministry. Just so cool. Our lives are really in kind of parallel with what God's doing on this trip and what God's doing for him. He gave up a six-figure job just to be able to pursue ministry. And so, yeah, really cool place. I'm going to try to get some video of that in the morning, but it's super late. It's like midnight. So they're celebrating the Feast of Tabernacles. So they had so much good food. Salad and pineapple upside down cake and baked spaghetti with meatballs. Really good. John wants to start a ministry. His son wants to start a ministry where he kind of travels around the United States with a RV and a camper, or a camper and a truck. And God provided the camper and the truck almost just out of thin air. He traded like a car and a little bit of work, and the guy gave it to him. So I was like, yeah, that's pretty cool. So at the end of the night, Thad and Larissa, who are the pastors of the church, which is where I am now, their house, came over to Richard's, and then we all talked. And so then I left a bicycle and stuff over at Richard's house, and then came over here to Thad and Larissa's, and we stayed up and talked super late. Thad's got a cool testimony of how God called him into the ministry to be a pastor. And yeah, just a lot of different stories. His mom is in recovery, has had a bunch of issues similar to mine, in fact. And so, really cool day. Stayed up late. I'm not going to cut and edit this video tonight, going to bed. But it was really good. And I was able to get a shower, and I've got my clothes washing. Always a bonus. Also tomorrow, Thad has invited me to just say a few words at the church, which is at 11. So I get to go to church, which is cool. Always a good thing. And even though I sent my church clothes home, he's like, "You're okay in your shorts and your t-shirt?" Like, okay, good. And so then after that, he has to take someone back to Berea. So he's trying to navigate and figure it all out to where I just catch a ride with him for the 8-10 miles that it is, so that I don't have to be out in the rain tomorrow. And then I should get to Jennifer's place, Happiness Hills Farms, sometime around 1 o'clock. And then tomorrow's just an entire off day. But I'm still where I wanted to be. I wanted to be halfway between Berea last night and then Berea tonight, so still on schedule. Took a lot of extra work, and it took another vehicle assist. Thank you, Richard. I'm actually glad I did that. When I was kind of watching the road on the way in, I'm glad that I didn't try to pedal that out at night in rain. It didn't end up raining like I thought it was going to, though. It just sprinkled a little bit. So anyway, with all that being said, I'm going to end the video here. If you know anyone who's passed away from addiction in any form or fashion, please drop their name in the comments or find me on Facebook, Adam Lineberry, Mobile, Alabama, and I would love to ride for your person and celebrate their life with you for a day. If you know anybody who's actively addicted, share this with them. I don't want to see anybody else die from addiction, and let's use YouTube as a tool that we might be able to save a life. If you know anybody who's in recovery, share this with them. We're all in it together, and I definitely need the recovery community's prayers and support as much as I pray for and support the recovery community. And then don't forget, Redeeming Eden is a nonprofit ministry through International Gospel Outreach. I'll leave a donation link in the description. You can go there. You can donate one time. You can donate monthly. It's whatever the Lord puts on your heart. And if He puts it on your heart just to pray, then just pray. Prayer has got me to Berea, the gateway to the Appalachian Mountains on the Trans-America Bicycle Trail. Almost. I mean, we'll call it close enough. This is actually Paint Lick, which is a tiny, tiny little town, but it's very sweet. Nice town. And do know that any funds that are left over from the Redeeming Eden Cycle Tour will go to funding Redeeming Eden, the Garden Rehab. So with that being said, from Paint Lick, 8 miles, I think, from Berea, I love you guys. Jesus loves you. I'll see you later. Have a good night.